Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, a World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen, and as you can tell, we are now presenting to you in 4K HD video and nice high-quality microphone. I know, everyone should be very terrified right now. Our backdrop doesn't look so good anymore. But let's get to the story today, John, and that is out of the telegraph.co.uk, fears over 280,000 pensions as Barclays dumps final salary scheme on Casino Bank. And as the article goes on to say, Barclays has attracted stinging criticism over plans to give responsibility for its giant staff pension fund to its riskier investment banking division. Frank Field MP, who chairs the influential Work and Pensions Parliamentary Committee, has written to the chief of the pensions regulator over concerns that 280,000 savers' pensions have been put under threat by the move. And of course, Barclays offered staff a generous final salary pension scheme until 1997 when it was replaced with a defined contribution plan. So John, can we go into this? We've talked about pensions many times. We do have a final point to make in this video after we go over this specific story. But John, what do you have to say about this?
Well, this is interesting. So what they're doing now is they're actually taking over and giving away their own pensions to the investment bank that usually screws everybody over. I guess they run out of other people's money now, so now they're using their own money and screwing over their own people. They don't really care about all these minions that are running around, that are bank clerks and so on, and works on minimum wages.
Well, it's exactly like governments and banks work so similarly, where they will run well until they run out of other people's money.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole game, right? They got to continue to, pump up and steal other people's money, siphon it out of the economy. And then suddenly, they're running out of that money, and then they're going after themselves and stealing from themselves. It's quite interesting with Barclays. Barclays, of course, have been, the big London Vale, the LIBOR scandal was a huge one, which they literally manipulated most of the world's interest rates with that LIBOR because that was a tracker rate for everything.
Well, what would they do without massive all-out manipulation and debt slavery? I mean, that's the whole point.
Well, yeah. What would it do without it? Well, the economy would actually crash, and we would they'd be forced into a free market economy where.
Oh no.
Hopefully they don't exist anymore. That's what I would love to see. With all these cryptos coming out, there's a lot of potentials to take over that throne and kick out these bankster once and for all.
You mean competition for the best quality product? I mean, who would have thunk? And as we've gone into so many times before with these pension plans, they're Ponzi plans. They are they're Ponzi schemes. Yeah, and long term, I mean, it's the enforcement of government and unions and banks and everything, and forcing you to have to pay into these things, save on these, retirement funds, etc., that you don't personally choose to save in, you are forced to. And things are so much better when people take financial responsibility and save for themselves and do what they need to do as an individual to, make sure that their future is in cement, that they have wealth to be able to last them their lifetime after years of hard work. So it's really annoying to see so many of these things go downhill, as we've seen such a huge shortfall in pensions across the board throughout the world. Canada, the United States, everywhere you look, really, there are huge pension shortfalls, and in the trillions of dollars.
Yeah. Not only that, of course, we went deeply into the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is supposed to be the pension fund in Norway, and we took a look there and saw, mass amounts of money that have been shoved into equity markets, which is a huge bubble on a global scale. They have diversified. I just got to laugh about this diversification. I'm actually writing a Steemit article just right now about actually diversifying your portfolio, because diversification in the point of view of a lot of these people that are in these sectors, it's just have a well-diversified stock portfolio, which is just invested on one stock exchange. Which is public. So they never really think too far out. They believe that diversification, or they just want to make a whole bunch of money off of people. That's probably the number one thing. I don't think it's the other one. I think they very well know what a well-diversified investment is. They just don't care, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, it's the truth. It's we're in a failing system here, and they gotta take advantage of it and start stealing from themselves. It's about time that they start stealing from themselves, and their own employees sees how bad the banks really are, because a lot of the employees, when I go to the banks, I get into a lot of trouble. especially when they go and ask me, oh, do you want to, invest in this mutual fund or similar things? Of course, they're trained to say that, but
well, same with me, and it also comes down to me criticizing them every time they ask me, well, what are you going to be doing with this money that you're taking out of your own account? None of your business. But
it's not going to be under your disposal in your bank.
Exactly, and and that's why I use a credit union for small amounts anyway, rather than a bank. It's still bad. We've gone over that many times before, and we will continue to go over that in the future. But one of the main points I wanted to make is debt servitude. So if you're shoved down a bottomless pit of debt, you are forced to ask for a ladder up from the government and the banking system, which puts you in perfect servitude, and that's exactly where they want you. So that is why we try so hard to tell people about independence, self-sustainability, financial responsibility. You cannot have freedom without responsibility. It's a hallmark. And it's so important that people understand this more often so that they can go out, they can do whatever they can possibly do in order to ensure their wealth. Look at the solutions: food, water, shelter, self-defense. So you're not gathering things for the toughest guy on the block. Of course, gold, silver, tangible assets, decentralized assets, Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies that aren't, crap coins, as I'm not swearing because I don't want the instant demonetization from the AI technology on YouTube, but there's a lot of really bad altcoins out there, so make sure that the fundamentals are in place and they are decent cryptos. My suggestion personally, from my opinion, is EOS, Steam. EOS is in an ICO phase that ends in June. It's I think the third biggest ICO in history, above $200 million. It is in the billions of dollars for market cap for the ICO right now, and I think it's going to be the future, and Steam has so many applicable uses with Steemit.com and eSteam and DTube and these live streaming sites and game streaming. Yeah, absolutely.
I would just like to say at the end of this is when it all comes down to this pension fund, again, I want to talk about decentralization of your portfolio. Get away from the central grid of investing, the stocks, bonds, all this stuff that you've been taught by the banks and the government to get into, because it makes them a truckload of money for you to be shoved into these pension investments that they have, these ponzis, and then just decentralize, become self-sufficient and be well diversified. It's so important in these days, and if you want to take a look at what a well diversified portfolio is, I highly suggest I'm probably going to put my article out before you actually get to see this video. So take a look at the Steemit article that I wrote on diversifying your investments.
Steemit.com/the economic truth.
Yeah, which is, of course, our opinion. But it's just so important to understand what actually diversification means, because people today don't understand what diversification is. And that's why you're seeing the banks is doing this to their own people.
You're like, oh, we have full control over people's savings. Let's make it as terrible as humanly possible so that people are continuously enslaved by debt down the road. And of course, looking at decentralization, remember, nothing is entirely decentralized truly. But the more decentralized you get, the better you will be off, as long as it has an applicable use, as long as a product is good. And it's so important that we get as decentralized as humanly possible in this world.
Self-sufficient as possible, right? It's just natural that you need to take care of yourself and just make sure that you are taken care of and understand historical events, natural disasters that could happen, all this, and just become self-sufficient. You'll feel so much better in your body than looking at everything that's going on right now and be like, well, what if this happens? I'm kind of in a panic because I'm not prepared. Just get prepared, and you'll sit a lot more relaxed than a lot of people are going to be, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and that's what it all comes down to. So self-sustainability, be responsible, folks. It all comes down to you. And with this happening at Barclays, this is the beginning of a long, long, long road we are heading down, and we just have to keep learning from the mistakes of the past and, stop repeating history or rhyming it, as Mark Twain would say. So thanks for going into this with us, John, and until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. In 4K. Like what you see here at WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so overwhelmingly demonetized and censored by YouTube as the Anti-Defamation League comes in and flags all of our content as hate speech. You can also find me at Josh Sigurdson at Steemit.com. That's Steemit.com, the future of social media, where you get paid in the upvote of your post via Steem, the cryptocurrency. You can also find our Bitcoin address in the description and the comments below, as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And don't forget to come on down to Acapulco in Acapulco, Mexico in February, one of the best events of the year, and you can save money on your tickets by typing in promo code WAM. That's WAM. We'll leave the link below for you, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.